didn't think I'd forget about Halloween, did you? Nope, I certainly did not. If you're wondering what this is sweet tea, okay? It's ice, but I did this to show off my Nightmare on Elm Street mug. Pretty cool, right? Anyways, it's October, and it's actually almost the middle of October, so why not talk about a horror movie? Or review another horror movie. This time I'm going to be reviewing Carrie from 1976. I actually saw a re-release of this at the end of September, around my birthday, a little after my birthday. But yeah, I felt like reviewing a horror movie, so I felt like this would be the perfect one to review since I saw that. But anyways, let's talk about it, okay? So if you're unfamiliar with Carrie, Carrie was the first ever Stephen King adaptation based off of his novel. And the movie was so well received that it received 2 Oscar nominations. Two, I think two. I could be wrong. But this film is about a young teen named Carrie White, played by Sissy Spacek. After she gets her period, I know, pretty shocking, am I right? She finds out that she has telekinetic powers, and her mother, Margaret White, has been, very aware of this whole thing. And when she finds out, she asks questions. And, Margaret is basically very protective of her. She doesn't want her going out or even going to the prom. But when a man or a young man asks Carrie out, she thinks it's a prank because everyone picks on her just for being, different. But it's not a prank. So she decides to go to the prom, but things turn to absolute hell when it turns out that the whole thing was a prank. And, oh my god, we get one of the most iconic horror scenes of all time, the pig's blood bucket, blood. It's insane, okay? And if you haven't seen the movie, some light spoilers, of course, but it's a very old film, and if you're a horror fan, you should have seen this movie already, because what can I say about it? Unlike most horror films when I was younger, I always usually watch the remake before watching the original. I don't know why, but this was one of the first horror films that I actually did watch before watching the remake. Because I watched it around the time the 2013 remake came out on Blu-ray. There was actually another adaptation of Carrie that was a made-for-TV film, which wasn't well received. And neither was the sequel to this movie. Like, this movie really needed a sequel after the ending, the crazy-ass ending that just came out of nowhere and shocked everyone at the theater. I am going to spoil it, so I will warn you. Okay, after Carrie gets home from killing pretty much almost everyone at the high school, because pretty much once she gets covered in blood and everyone laughs at her, she's had enough, okay? She goes out on a rampage, she turns out all the lights, everything is red, the cinematography, it is some of the best cinematography in a horror film from the 70s, okay? And it really holds up. While the way the film looks and the way that it's shot doesn't fully hold up, it really doesn't matter because, hey, the movie, you can absolutely tell what was going on screen the whole time. I mean, I can notice like the way the camera like looks and how the way the movie feels, but for the tone of the movie, it still looks great. In fact, there are some scenes that it's a very suspenseful film, and while it doesn't get fully tense until the last act, it's just it just leaves you on the edge of your seat, especially, they just hold off on dropping the blood on her for like 5 minutes, but that's because you're just prepared. You're just shocked. You just want to know what's going to happen if you haven't seen the movie, of course. And once Carrie gets home and bathes, her mother tells her all about how she was born and stuff, about her husband, and she decides to kill Carrie once and for all, but not until, of course, Carrie kills her, which is kind of like in a prophecy because there's a statue. She shoots knives at her mom, and the exact same order of the statuette or the crucifix, and pretty much after that, the entire house collapses with both her and her dead mother inside. It's actually very, very sad. One of the saddest horror deaths of all time, in my opinion. And while it seems like there's a nice, funeral scene going on, well, sort of, one of her friends that was still nice to her goes up to her grave, at least in her dreams, and there's some nice music playing, but then all of a sudden that arm just pops right out of the ground and starts attacking the girl, and she's all like, shaking, and she's just scared out of her mind. She was having a really bad dream, but it just felt so real that, and then the movie just closes. And I'm like, that's how you end a horror movie. Like, seriously, with all the tension that the movie just builds up to towards the end. Also, I believe this was John Travolta's acting debut, and he was great in the movie. Everyone in this movie was so good. The performances, and Carrie White is actually very likable. I mean, she had every reason to kill those students. I mean, it was bad that she killed her, but really, she just couldn't put up with their shit anymore. Honestly, the first hour, I mean, it's not a very long movie. It's only an hour and 39 minutes. The first hour makes it feel like it's just going to be some teen movie. Like, if you turn it on and all like, oh, a teen movie, okay. But then when it comes to that last act, it's just insane. Honestly, the last act makes this movie. But honestly, Carrie White is actually very interesting. She's trying to figure out more about her telekinetic power, and it's all handled beautifully with excellent cinematography, fantastic editing, and it's sort of a slow burn when it comes to. I mean, there are some certain scenes that do last quite a while, but honestly, the movie never felt boring. Okay, this is exactly how a horror movie should be. And for this being the very first Stephen King adaptation, it works on so many levels. In the end, guys, Carrie still holds up after 45 years. It's a terrifically acted film, it's very well edited, and while the look of the movie is a bit dated, it doesn't hide the fact that it's one of the most rewatchable Stephen King adaptations. And it just gets better with each time that I watch it. It's a must see for any horror fan out there, and it definitely deserves to be called, a masterpiece. So, yeah, you should definitely check it out. Drink to that because this is an amazing film. All right, I may have one more review. I'm not sure when. It might be towards the end of Halloween when it gets close to the end of October. But then again, I'm going to be out of town by the end of October. I'm not entirely sure. I'll think about it. But yeah, sorry if this review was kind of a little sloppy the way I was speaking. It's just I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a horror review, any more horror reviews for October or during the Halloween season again, just like I did last year. But since I didn't review a whole lot last year, I'm not going to review a whole lot this year because I still have so many movies to see, Halloween Kills included. I also want to see The Last Duel. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.